Welcome to the Deficient Vegans podcast, episode 22. I'm Muscle Deficient Vegan here with the Protein Deficient Vegan. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, everybody. We're going to talk this week about what equipment you really need to do home workouts. Depending on your goals, you might have different pieces of equipment that are essential or important for that. So we'll get into some of those. And then we'll also discuss maybe some creative solutions so you don't necessarily have to buy equipment.
Before we get into all that, do you think we should have a theme song?
What?
Does anyone else think we should have a theme song? Can you let us know?
Yeah, a theme jingle.
A theme jingle.
Yeah. So for equipment for a home gym, you want to make sure you don't fall into the trap of thinking you need a whole bunch of stuff or everything all at once, right? If you're out there on social media, you'll see a lot of really overcomplicated gym setups and really extravagant things.
It's a trap.
But on the flip side of that, you'll also see people who are super in shape doing calisthenic workouts in a park with just monkey bars or a pull-up bar or something like that. And calisthenics is basically just purely using your own body weight. Now, if you want to do a workout like that, you really won't need much at all. A lot of people don't want that or even maybe can't do some of those things as a beginner. So it really just depends on your goals and your current fitness level and things like that. And I think in most cases, some level of equipment will help optimize things at least a little bit. So we'll want to focus on which equipment actually makes a difference for the goal you have. So as a beginner or somebody who just has a general fitness goal with no specific type of workout in mind, some of the things you can get are resistance bands is a really popular kind of first thing to have at home. A resistance band is basically just a big strip of elastic and it kind of mimics the weight of a dumbbell or something. So they'll be basically harder to stretch certain ones and you can get them up to 20, 30, 40 pounds of resistance. And that's kind of where they top out. I think there are some like really professional ones that are a little heavier, but they start out pretty light and then there are some heavier ones.
Honestly, after having too many ponytail holders snap on me, those things stress me the hell out.
Yeah, there are a lot of movements with the resistance band where you're pulling it directly at your face.
Yeah.
And then you can see the little, like the white wear marks and the rubber where it's starting to wear out a little bit and a little nerve wracking, but usually they don't hurt you too bad when they break.
I'm like turning my face away, holding my breath and praying.
Yeah, that is a good option, especially good for like traveling and stuff. They basically take up no space. You can stick it in your pocket. They're really popular for rehab work. If you have an injury, they'll probably have you using resistance bands. So that's definitely one option. The next step up there is going to be a set of adjustable dumbbells. You can also just use normal dumbbells. They're called fixed dumbbells, which is like this dumbbell is 20 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is over time, as you work out, you're going to need a lot of different weights of dumbbell and buying individual dumbbell pairs gets like super expensive. So you can go and find what are called adjustable dumbbells, which is effectively, one pair of dumbbells that you have some kind of selector on to pick which weight it is. Sometimes it's like you turn the handle, sometimes it's a lever or a knob or whatever. They all do it a little differently. But the general idea is it's just one pair of dumbbells that can basically replace an entire dumbbell rack.
Yeah, and they even make loadable ones that are similar to like barbells. But those are a lot cheaper than the adjustable ones even.
Yeah.
But they don't go up that high.
Right, and you got to deal with putting the plates on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good option too. It's like a tiny barbell and it has tiny plates and you kind of add them to it.
I think I finally got to 15-pound dumbbells after going up in 2 to 3 pound increments before I was like, wow, this takes up a lot of space and I wasted a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes sense in a commercial gym because you have multiple people trying to use them at once and they're like swapping them in and out real fast. But if you're the only person or you have 1 or 2 people at home doing dumbbell workouts, you don't even need multiple sets for the most part. So adjustable dumbbells, one pair will last you a decade or more probably as long as you're careful with them. That is one thing. An adjustable dumbbell set is like a little more fragile when you drop it.
Yeah.
Whereas the fixed dumbbells at the gym, you can pretty much throw those around without breaking them. So with an adjustable set, you do have to baby it a little bit. The other thing for like general fitness is a yoga mat or some kind of floor padding. There are a lot of floor exercises and stretches and flexibility routines and stuff like that you might want to do on the floor. If you have a hard floor or a carpeted floor especially, it might be a little better to get some kind of mat to lay down that you can do that on. So if you want to focus specifically on hypertrophy or growing muscles, the adjustable dumbbells become almost a necessity. Resistance bands aren't going to get you super far there, at least for more than a month or two. And then something else you'll want to definitely try to get is an adjustable bench, which is just a bench that can go up and down at angles. It can be flat or the back can be vertical. So you can do like sitting things with back support, or you can do like a laying down bench press, something like that.
Yeah, and you can find those pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I was part of a Facebook group a few years ago, and girls in there were talking about doing bench presses on their couch.
Yeah.
And I was like, I probably wouldn't do that because it's squishy.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like you could definitely pull something or...
Yeah, not a good idea to do it on something that isn't like stable.
Yeah.
I remember we went to a hotel once and I was doing like shoulder press on a couch and I tried it on the bed and it was like, kind of bouncing every time. It was not a good experience. So.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that. Also, another thing for hypertrophy specifically is some kind of pull-up bar. You can get like a fixed pull-up bar or you can attach it to a door frame in some cases, although I think you really want to get one that's trusted because I think there are cheap ones that can just basically break the whole door frame. I've never used one of those, but I've definitely seen some videos that looked like they weren't much fun. But yeah, some sort of pull-up bar situation is a good one to use because like pull-ups and static hangs and stuff like that are, really useful. And then as you move more into strength training, so hypertrophy and muscle building is usually like you do more reps with less weight, so you don't necessarily need super heavy weights, at least not right off the bat, right? You can probably make it a year working in like mostly the rep ranges that dumbbells can provide. But if you go beyond that or you want to go into strength training, you'll probably want to get at least one barbell and some actual weight plates to put on the barbell. This is going to take up a lot more space than a dumbbell. So it's something you would maybe want to reserve for later down the line. So you can get one barbell, last you probably your whole life, is just a single person user. And the same with the weight plates to go with it.
And you can get really cute ones in different colors. And I have one that says, fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah.
In pink.
Yeah. Rogue will customize barbells and lots of different companies have colorful weight plates and stuff like that. And again, if you don't want to buy something new, you were saying you were part of that Facebook group. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of marketplace apps and Facebook marketplace and stuff like that. You can find people selling those all the time. And also for strength training, if you're going to have the barbell, you probably want some form of squat rack. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a full rack, but something you can do squats on. And also sometimes the squat racks have safety bars that you can use to do bench press in, which I highly recommend, especially if you're trying to do bench press at home. You definitely want to use some sort of safety setup.
Yeah.
And then if you're just trying to do cardio workouts, you don't always need equipment. Obviously, you can just go outside and run until you get tired of running, right? But if we're trying to do something in the house, indoors, maybe it's winter, I don't know. It can be helpful to have equipment. Again, though, you can like follow along with a cardio video, no equipment at all, doing jumping jacks and all kinds of calisthenic cardio stuff.
Or like dancing.
Dancing, yeah, anything really. But if you did want to use some equipment for it, you can use something like as simple as a jump rope. Boxers use jump ropes a lot for cardio. That's pretty common. But if you want to get a cardio machine, it's going to be up to your personal preference. Like if you can do an elliptical, a rowing machine, exercise bike, pretty much anything like that. You can get one, again, like off a secondary market, or you can go fancy and buy yourself a Peloton bike so you can follow along with the trainers and have an app.
Underrated cardio, I would say, is like video games.
Yeah.
Like, I really like some games that are on the Switch, and I also like that VR headset. The Oculus has some pretty cool stuff you can do.
Yeah, you do cardio with the Beat Saber.
Yeah. Until my face is so sweaty that my glasses, the like VR glasses are so fogged up.
Yeah. Yeah, the good thing about cardio is like as long as you get your heart rate up, everything's pretty much equally effective. But if you were somebody who likes to actually go out and ride a real bike in the warmer months, then you might want to get an exercise bike to have for the cooler months. So you're still staying in practice with like that specific thing you like to do.
Yeah.
But if you're just generally like, I just want to get moving and do cardio and I'm not real picky and I don't run marathons, I don't bike, I don't do anything like that. Oh, also another good one is swimming. So yeah, a lot of options for cardio.
When I was living in an apartment, I actually bought this like stand that my bike could mount onto that added resistance to the wheel, and I could basically use it like an exercise bike, but it was like so much cheaper than buying an exercise bike and took up obviously a lot less space since I already had a bike in my apartment.
Yeah, that's a good tip. And then like if that's the bike you ride, you're used to being on that bike.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So just in general, as you're getting new equipment to put into your home gym or just into your house, if it's not really even a dedicated gym situation, I think the most important thing is like start small, start with like only what you feel like you really need to get started and you can just build up over time.
I've like never taken that advice myself. I remember when you moved in, you were like, because I had like multiple punching bags and like a treadmill and an elliptical and a bike.
Yeah. Well, luckily we end up using most of it on a rotation. So. But yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks, right? But if you're just starting to get into fitness, especially, I would definitely recommend just starting with a couple of things.
Especially if you're in like an apartment or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you
run out of space pretty fast.
Or anywhere where you like foresee you're going to be moving in the near future, I would definitely think hard about what you want to be.
Unless you can make your work pay for the movers.
Yeah. That would be nice. Also, like just being consistent with doing some kind of workout is going to be a lot more important than like having the best equipment or the right equipment or even equipment at all, really. If you're doing anything without equipment, it's going to be better than doing something like almost never once you buy the equipment. So focus on consistency and just whatever minimal equipment you need to get that done.
I feel like a wearable tracker is also kind of a big component of like a home gym. Like if you're going to be working out, you probably should have something like that.
Yeah.
If you're taking it seriously.
Yep. And if you hadn't listened to the last episode we just did yet, we talked all about those. So you can go back and check that out. So for resistance training specifically, especially if you're trying to do bodybuilding, hypertrophy, muscle growth, focused type of workouts, you can get a really long way with just an adjustable bench and a pair of adjustable dumbbells.
And P90X.
Yeah. P90X is good. But you can probably, get a year or two into a pretty advanced workout plan with just the adjustable dumbbells and adjustable bench. So I wouldn't think that you need much more than that right off the bat or even anytime soon. If you can manage to get your hands on those, you'll be really set.
Yeah, because we had a pair of the Bowflex ones, I think.
Yeah.
And those go up to 52 pounds.
Yeah, I think so, 52 pounds.
Yeah. And then what's the brand we have now?
We have Power Blocks now.
Yeah. Oh, they have like one for smaller hands, which I really like.
And then there's another set where it's like expansive and it can go up, I think,
to 90.
I think they actually have a pair now that goes up to like 120.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you can get the ones with the expansion kits or any kind of adjustable, just super nice. We use them, several times a week. And also, if you are going to go and find something secondhand on a marketplace or maybe even just from somebody if it's going to be something that has a safety component, like you don't really have to worry about this as much with like a dumbbell, but for something like maybe even a barbell, but definitely like a squat rack or a bench or something like that. You want to make sure it's not damaged and it's still safe. Yeah. You don't want to be lifting on an adjustable bench and it collapses because something was worn out or broken or something like that. That can be really dangerous. So you just want to make sure.
Yeah, I really try to follow this one rule in life. And it's like, if I die doing this thing, are people going to think I'm an idiot? And then I don't do those things.
That's probably a pretty good rule.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us guys could learn to live by that a little more. I think it's built into our DNA to do very stupid things.
I'm not going to disagree.
Also, you can find a lot of good Black Friday deals.
Yeah.
So if you can just, hold off until late November, that's usually the best time to buy fitness equipment, especially if you're trying to buy weight over the internet, like dumbbells or weight plates or anything like that, because those can get pretty expensive to ship. But a lot of the time for Black Friday, they have really good deals on the actual weight plates themselves. So, and sometimes even free shipping, which is huge. So check that out for sure. You can also implement some creative solutions where you don't necessarily have to buy equipment, especially when you're just starting out. But think about things like a backpack full of books instead of like a dumbbell.
Like big textbooks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so take the ones you're using for pressing your tofu and just throw in a backpack.
Yeah, that's great advice. You can also do dips on a chair.
Stable chair without wheels.
Obviously. That's a really great point. And to me, it seems like, but I'm sure somebody's tried this.
I've seen some stupid shit.
Don't do anything on chairs with wheels, right? First of all.
Don't stand on them. Don't lean on them.
And even in your chairs without wheels, make sure they're like well-built chairs. Test them out a little first. But a lot of people do dips on chairs. You can do dips on like a countertop. Again, make sure it's stable. Maybe even on like a staircase, something like that. So there are some flexible options there. You can also do incline push-ups on a countertop or a staircase. And then also with the resistance bands we were talking about earlier, they make like anchors to the doorway. So you can do rows or even like a curl. So if you attach the resistance bands to a wall or a doorway or something, they actually become quite a bit more useful. But just getting you in the mindset of thinking of creative things you could do. But again, make sure they're safe.
Please.
Yeah. Another one you could do is like a do-it-yourself sandbag type thing. So fill a bag up with sand, use that for a dumbbell or a kettlebell, something like that.
Yeah. There's also just a lot of body weight workouts you can do.
So when we're talking about home workouts, it might be useful to think about the pros and cons of doing a home workout or trying to build a home gym versus, just going to a gym, getting a gym membership if you can afford that. So some of the pros of being able to work out at home are you have like complete control of the environment. So including like the music you're listening to, the temperature it is, like the activity of anybody else who happens to be in the house, you can maybe control to some degree at least, right? Mm-hmm. Also, there's no wait times for for like the machine you're on, which is the big one at the gym. Not only do you have to drive to the gym, spend some time doing that, but also once you get there, especially if you're trying to do supersets where you're like doing different exercises back to back, that's not even an option in a lot of gyms. But even just doing exercises one after another, you might, do one exercise and you go to do the next thing you want, but somebody's using that. So you go to do something else and then that other thing gets taken again and you end up spending
pivoting the whole time.
Yeah, you're pivoting and you spend like an hour of just waiting for things basically across your entire workout.
Yeah. I also think the commute time thing that you mentioned is a big one for me because I'm a homebody. I don't like leaving the house if I don't have to. I don't really want to socialize.
Yeah.
So like there's resistance there of like I have to now leave the house and go be around humans, and the motivation just kind of drains.
And also, you'll probably be more likely to go to the gym if all you have to do is go to another part of your house.
Right.
Like sometimes there's a little bit of friction where you're like, I don't really want to drive, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like doing it today. But it gets a little harder to make the excuse if you're already really at the gym and you just have to go do your workout. So that's actually really big for me. That brings up another point. You can wear whatever the hell you want at home.
That's true.
Yeah. You can work out with no pants on if you really feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to put hair gel in or whatever. I don't know. I've never done that to go to the gym anyway, but I see a lot of people who get very dressed up for what feels like to me to go do a workout and you don't have to do any of that.
I've seen people with fake lashes.
Wow.
That is like dedication.
Yeah. I've never put on fake lashes, but that seems like it would take a lot of time.
I would think so.
Yeah. Also, you can customize your home gym. That can be fun. You can hang up, banners and flags.
And colors, different colors.
All kinds of colors and signs, motivational thing, whatever you want. It's nice to have, if you can have a dedicated space, even if it's just like a section of the garage or like a corner of a room or something, you can kind of make this your workout zone, even if it's not a whole room that's a gym or something like that. That can be cool. And then you also don't have to worry about people with tripods filming you or getting mad when you walk across their camera space.
Dude, that is like stressful.
Yeah. Like I get they're out there doing their thing, but like I'd rather not have to deal with it if I have an option.
I don't want to be in the back of someone's video.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right. So that's just something else you get to completely not have to deal with if you're just working out at home. Some of the cons of a home workout are obviously no matter what you do, really, you're going to have, unless you're The Rock, I guess, you're going to have less equipment at home than they do in a professional gym. So you'll have like less things available to you. You won't be able to maybe do leg extensions at home or like a real row at home or something like that. Yeah. There are definitely some options there, but it's not going to be the same as the complete options available to you at a commercial gym.
Yeah. I also like the machines at a gym, and you can't really replicate that at home unless you have a mansion, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, all the specialized equipment and the machines for like individual isolations are really nice.
Yeah. So I think the machines are good too, like if you're a beginner. Yeah. Because I feel like you're less likely to get hurt on a machine because your body's only moving the direction of the machine.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like less risky if you're just starting out. So
yeah. Especially the really special machines like a hack squat or like a belt squat or something like that. Like you can get that at home, but you're spending a couple $1,000s and taking up a pretty big footprint in your house for this one machine that does this one thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty excessive.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the only machine I would think you would get like a tonal. Yeah. Because it can do a whole lot of different things, but damn, those are pretty pricey.
Yeah. And then the other thing is you probably have less total weight available at home. This is probably only an issue for maybe like squats and deadlifts and stuff like that, but you're going to have to keep buying like 45-pound plates as you progress over time. So yeah, it's a little inconvenient.
And I think like the biggest con I would say is just the price. I think unless you're going really, really limited equipment in your home gym, like you're probably never going to beat the price of a commercial gym, especially like something like Planet Fitness is really cheap and you have access to like their massage chairs and whatever else.
Yeah. It's really not a cost thing for sure. It's more of like convenience and spending less time. So as you start to build out some home equipment, some of the things you might want to upgrade down the road, this is definitely as long as you're sure you're going to work out and you're consistently working out for more than a year or so, and this is a thing you think you're going to do long term, is really when I would even start to think about, upgrading to some of these things. But you could do something like a full modular power rack. So the big squat racks you see at the gym with all the holes in them, because not only are they good for squats and bench press, and they're really safe. But you can add a bunch of different attachments to it. So you can add a landmine attachment, which is where one side of the barbell is attached to the floor, basically, and you can do a lot of different types of rows and presses and stuff with that. You can add lever arms, which lets you do a lot of different exercises. There are a lot of different attachments that you can add to a rack and kind of expand the usefulness of your gym just around that one piece of equipment without buying entire machines for different things. So that's a really good option. Again, as long as you're like committed and you know you're going to stick to it long term. Something else might be a couple of specialty barbells. Maybe if you have an injury or some discomfort, or you just want to do a really particular movement pattern for an exercise, you could get something like a buffalo bar for the squat where it's like bent, or you could get a trap bar for deadlifts, or one that I really like. I have the safety squat bar, which I like for squats because I've got like a little bit of a shoulder issue. It irritates if I do a normal one sometimes. So
is that the one with the handles?
Yeah, that's the one with the handles in the front.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. They're also really good for good mornings. So you could just kind of sit it on the back of your neck. It's got a big pad and you just bend over. So those are pretty nice. And then also an easy curl bar. So it's like the one that's kind of zigzag in the middle and helps your arms not have to lay completely flat while you're doing curls. It's just a little more comfortable. So I like those a lot. Something else that's interesting is like a multifunction bench. I just got one of these like a year or two ago. I got that Freak Athlete Hyper Pro, not sponsored or anything. I just really like it, and I actually use it.
Is that the blue one?
No, that's the orange thing that we do the leg extensions on.
Oh, yeah, that one is nice.
Yeah. So it does a lot of stuff. It's actually like a leg extension, leg curl. You can do glute ham raise, and I think it actually does like 12 or 13 different exercises. I almost exclusively use it for leg extensions and leg curls just because there's not really a great way to do those at home. But that's really good because you can put plates on it, but also it has an attachment to hook up if you have some kind of cable situation at home. You can just hook it up to there to add the weight to it.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of leg exercises.
Yeah. And I was worried about it because like I saw it and I was like, oh man, something like that's probably going to be like really unstable and kind of chintzy. But actually I got it and it's really nice and stable and I use it 3 times a week. So.
And you can kind of flip it up and push it against the wall, which is nice.
Yeah. It stands up and get it out of the way. And then maybe some form of cable station would be a good upgrade at some point. You mentioned the tonal, which is like super space saving because it just attaches to the wall.
Yeah.
It is pricey, but there are other options. There are actually cable stations that will kind of integrate with a power rack. So you can just attach it right there where your power rack already is. It doesn't take up much more space. But there are also some freestanding cable stations that, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not cheap. But if you're going to be keeping it for 20 years, 30 years, it seems to make sense.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the tonal. The subscription is crazy expensive, but we canceled ours and we just use like free exercises. Yeah. Like make our own exercises.
Yeah. Once you cancel the subscription on the tonal, it basically just turns into the cable machine at the gym. So you set your weight, grab the cables and attach whatever you want to it. I use all the normal gym cable attachments at this point. I got a bunch of stuff for lat pull downs and rows and curls and tricep extensions.
And you can buy different attachments on like Etsy and stuff. Yeah. People have made attachments for the tonal that tonal doesn't sell.
There's even a pedal to turn off and on the weight.
That is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably a third or more of my workout every time is on the tonal cable station. So really highly recommend, but again, pretty pricey. But if you're thinking about it in terms of, 20 or 30 years, maybe, I don't know how long we'll get out of that thing, but it'd be nice.
I don't know. Electronics make me nervous, but
yeah.
So far, you've had it, 3 years?
Yeah, definitely seems like it's been worth it. We use it all the time. So to summarize there, you start out simple, upgrade things when you need, like when they directly support your goals. And as you get more comfortable with knowing how consistent you're going to be in the gym and how much having equipment for different things is really worth to you. And then stick to only buying things, in my opinion, that you expect to actually use multiple times a week long term. We got a couple benches, we got the barbell, we got the power rack and stuff like that. I've had some videos where I kind of show the gym, but I think everything we have that was a bigger purchase is in my workout every week. So I only bought things that really directly impact my goals.
I did not.
Well, there's some early days stuff down there, like the shake weights and the booty bands and some things like that have been relegated to a dustbin somewhere. But
and sometimes I'll get like a hyperfixation where I'm like, I want to do nothing but like kickboxing workouts. So then I bought a heavy bag and speed bag combo, and now it like sits there, and I don't use it that often.
Yeah,
but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's good to experiment with. And then, like, every once in a while, you can be like, oh, I might hit the bag a couple times this week. And, yeah, whatever.
I watch too much Rocky is the real problem.
Rocky does make you want to buy a punching bag, that's for sure.
I mean, as long as you don't watch the 5th movie, I will watch that whole series like from start to finish multiple times a year.
I thought the fifth one was your favorite
No,
one.
the fifth one is garbage.
Oh, man. Okay, moving on to our myth of the week for this week. So the myth we're talking about this week is that you need to feel the burn or feel the muscle or feel sore after your workout. They're all kind of the same myth for muscle growth to actually be working. So that's not really true. It can kind of work in one way. Like if you do feel the burn or you do feel sore, you can probably be pretty sure that you worked out that muscle, right? And that you did enough that it's going to stimulate muscle growth. But it doesn't really go the other way where if you don't feel those things, you didn't work the muscle. Like if you are increasing the weight that you did last time, or like the reps or the sets or whatever your progression is, and you're doing the movement pattern right, like you're doing the right range of motion, you're doing the exercise the way you're supposed to do, then the muscle is working because that's how the movement gets done.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to worry too much about whether or not you like feel it or you get a really big pump or a burn or you're sore afterwards. I wouldn't worry much about those things at all, really.
The key is that you're like progressing and almost going to failure though, right?
Right. Yeah. Definitely you want to get to the point where you're coming within probably 3 reps of failure or something like that every set. And you want to feel like it's a challenge and it's a struggle while you're doing the workout.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always equate into feeling the burn or feeling like you're sore afterwards. So
totally unrelated story.
Yeah.
But so I had a hyperactive thyroid at one point and I was on medication to like slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell me this was a side effect. So I found it out on my own. But I did my first like arm workout after being on it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And like the next morning I woke up and I couldn't lift my arms.
Oh, wow.
I had to call off work because I couldn't lift them at all. Like couldn't brush my hair, couldn't drive, couldn't put on clothes.
Yeah.
Like completely immobile.
Yeah. Now imagine if you thought every workout after that, you were like, well, if it doesn't feel like this, it didn't work.
I didn't do shit.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, if you're doing the exercise the way you're supposed to be doing the exercise, the muscle is working. Just make sure you're adding weight every time you try to do it. Also, you put out another new YouTube video this week. What was this one about?
This one is pumpkin spice seitan.
Oh.
So like dessert seitan.
Yeah, I really like the pumpkin spice seitan.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's like a good little fall snack.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've seen it on the website or any of my socials and you haven't tried it yet and you've been thinking about trying it, this video goes in depth on like what it should look like in every step and like kind of like the texture and why I use certain ingredients.
Okay. So if anybody out there has any ideas about podcast topics they want to hear about or any questions about what you heard here.
Or recipe ideas.
Or questions about some of the recipes you see on Protein Deficient Vegan's website, let us know. You can send us a text with a link in the show notes. And the show notes also have, our websites, our social media. You can reach out to us pretty much any of those channels and we are more than happy to talk to you and get back to you. And if you leave the text message thing, that sends us something where we can kind of reply on the podcast specifically, if that's what you want. But if you have a question on one of the other channels, we might mention it too.
Oh, totally random topic for anyone who paints their nails. But I don't know if you've used Mooncat before, but it's a vegan, cruelty-free nail polish, and I'm like obsessed with it. Because you got me a bunch of Halloween colors for my birthday, and I love them. And one's magnetic, and you can use this little magnet and make it do all kinds of cool stuff. And
the magnet thing is super cool.
It's so much fun.
As a spectator, I have to say, I've been playing with the magnet on the little paint samples you put on the box.
This is obviously not sponsored because we don't have enough people to get sponsored, but I'm just saying Mooncat, very cool.
The colors I've seen are all really cool, and they're all shiny and sparkly and all those other things I imagine people who paint their nails like to see.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's all we had for this week. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye, everybody.